Michelle Masan so atina ti yuma ha Ghana ti buso na pon adom ochre ni kam na ya ko piem ewo ho massive revelation be na we na mo re amaya concerning Okudzeto Ablakwa ni xposduğs fufu akoye concerning the ochre that political dia obeso onje free Ghana ban emu nsem emu edronso ma so mudi mechi beko akotie mu entwe mu na se ba me no se be den ye betwa so
Tami Okudzeto. That's our first story tonight. We will deal with it very quickly. Okay, so viewers, here we are. This is what was published, and we all saw it. And I also get excited when I see people say they have a scandal to report. So I saw this. This is the kitchen scandal drops on Tuesday, 1st August 2023 at 5 a.m. I'm not sure why they were dramatic about 5 a.m. Okay, so what's the story? Okay. Now, do I have the photographs of the actors? So this is Samuel Okudzeto, the honorable member of parliament for North Tongue. Now, there's another member of parliament from Presec. He's another day, so remember that all the time. I think that Samuel Okudzeto has been either grossly misinformed or he has not understood. Oh my goodness, I was going to ask for the Article 88. If you can get me Article 88 very quickly, I forgot to tell you. Article 88. We need to outline the role of the Attorney General. You have it. Great. Fantastic. Okay, let me get back Samuel Okudzeto and then we'll build up the story. Thank you very much for the constitutional article. All right, so Samuel Okudzeto, I suspect, knowing what I know about him, that he may have been misinformed or he and his team have grossly misunderstood the role of the Attorney General. And they've not done enough of the history of the case that they are discussing. Because the case they are discussing has a clear history. We're going to tell you the history tonight. And we're going to show you the role that the Attorney General played. It would appear also that when you listen to the scandal, the real focus of this scandal is not Gabiotri Dako, it's not the MPP itself as such. It is Godfrey Dame, the Attorney General. He's the one that Samuel Okudzeto is looking for. He's looking for Godfrey Dame. You can understand why. They've tried hard with Jachi Kwesi, and Godfrey Dame has gotten a spot on at every stage of the Jachi Kwesi trial. Never mind that Jachi Kwesi won the by-elections, which he did. Congratulations to him. But at every stage of the trial, Godfrey Dame's legal analysis have been correct. And we have been in this country and we have seen that it's not always that Attorney General wins. The NBC themselves in 2009 were at pains to complain that the Attorney General of the day, Betty Mould, was losing cases. The Attorney Generals lose cases. Nana Akufo-Addo as Attorney General has lost a case before. So Attorney Generals don't always win. Godfrey Dame has lost some cases to the NBC. But the fact is that on the critical ones, he seems to get it right all the time. And he gets it right in a way that sometimes hurts the NDC. So he's prosecuted at 247 and they say it's a kangaroo trial, is this, but he goes to court and he demonstrates the understanding of the law, the panache and the circumstance that makes the judges rule for him. The judges didn't rule for him since he became Attorney General. If you look at his history as a private practicing lawyer, especially his history against Betty Mould as Attorney General, the cases they did together or they did against each other, Godfrey Dame versus Betty Mould, you can go and check. You'll find about 4 or 5 cases in which Godfrey Dame completely dispatched Betty Mould at the court. Betty was Attorney General. And Dame defeated her, just dispatched her just like that. And not that Betty Mould is a bad lawyer. Betty Mould is not a bad lawyer. But when the case is bad, it's bad. And Betty had gone to court against Osei and other people. And Dame was the private legal practitioner who dispatched them. So he's had a seasoned practice before he became Attorney General. Everybody at the Bar Association knows that. Now, when he became Attorney General, or since he became Attorney General, right from the vetting, you remember his vetting, the controversy about back and forth with Haruna Idrisu, that the minority leader at the time had to concede to him on a particular point about public procurement law. So, a good lawyer is a good lawyer. Whether he's Attorney General or not Attorney General, is a good lawyer, you see. So, I'm guessing that the target of this whole Ablakwa thing is about Godfrey Dame. And so, we're going to get into that and show you a few things. Okay, let's get back to the story. What is Samuel Okudzeto complaining about? What is the scandal? The scandal is that there is a private company whose name we cannot mention because they're a private company, they are doing their business. It's a private company who had a deal, a contract done with the government of Ghana. During the John Mahama era, this private company's deal with the government of Ghana was done and expressed during the John Mahama era. Okay, come the MPP era, difficulties arise with the relationship. And so, as you know, every contract has a termination clause and has an abrogation regime. So the termination and abrogation was exercised and the contract was terminated. Now this private company were alarmed. They were unhappy with the termination, as I would have been too. So they decided to go back to the contract and bring legal action against government. Okay, so in bringing legal action against government, they hired lawyers to take the legal action. So they went to one law firm first and said, take legal action for us, and we want to sue the government. And then they were told that there's another law firm, Africa Legal Associates, Gabi Ochedako's law firm, which has seasoned lawyers there. Gabi is not the only lawyer. There are other very serious corporate lawyers. There are people who have significant corporate practice. I don't need to mention their names. They are there. So their law firm's conduct of the matter was that when they have a client who wants to sue, they are quick to negotiate. So that's what they do. They are quick to negotiate. And so they told the client that, listen, you want to sue government, let us negotiate with government and see whether you can see eye to eye, because you can go to the court and win, but you can also go to the court and lose. So if you're looking for your money, your contract has been terminated, you want to exercise the termination clause and see what can be done. So that's the conversation they had. Now, why was the contract difficult? The contract was difficult for government because it was done in a certain way. Please get me back get ready the World Bank story that said that the World Bank guy who said the worst contracts in Ghana was done in the John Mahama time. Get me that story. That's the guy, World Bank guy, who recently said that. We use the story here. He said the worst contract was done in the John Mahama time. Now, if you look at some of these contracts that was done, it is bad, but that's not our point here. Government is a continuum. So whether it's NDC government or it's NPP government, it's the government of Ghana. So the conduct of an NDC government, it's implied upon an NPP government. The conduct of an NPP government is implied upon a future NDC government. The conduct of an NDC government is implied upon a future CPP government. Government is a continuum, as we learned in political science, didn't we? So when one government does something, it is assumed that the other government has done it. So one government can do, another government can change it. When the aggrieved party thinks that the government owes me, yes, the government owes them. So some of Ablakwa's allegations are that some deal was cooked in the kitchen. You go back to his kitchen thing. Yes, some deal was cooked in the kitchen by Gabriel Chidako, the Africa Legal Associates founder, and he suspects, he ropes in the Attorney General, says that the Attorney General also rendered advice for the money to be paid back to the business entity. That's the allegation. So his allegation is that people sat down and tried to cook some huge sums of millions of cedis to create the impression that government owed this business entity. The Attorney General was part of creating the impression that government owed this entity and that the government has paid or is about to pay this entity, and that is the scandal. That's the kitchen scandal. That's all what it is. Okay, so now let's deal with it one after the other. First of all, as we found out, no money has been paid. No money, that's not even important, but we have to state it. No money has been paid. The Ministry of Finance has not paid anyone. Nothing. Zero. Nothing has happened. It is true that the Attorney General has rendered an opinion on the matter. It is true that Gabriel Chidako represented the business entity. It is all true. And the Attorney General has rendered an opinion 3 times. So now let's get into the details. So these people have a contract with government. Government exercises, and the contract was done in NDC time. Government exercises the termination clause and terminates the contract. These people say that, okay, you've terminated the contract, we are going to court. This is 2021. They're trying to find lawyers to go to court for them. So they're shopping for law firms. They go to one and another, and they end up at Africa Legal. So Africa Legal says that we won't go to court. We don't do that. We will negotiate with you. First of all, let's find out, what is your claim? And they said that, look at the contract we have. This clause in the contract allows us to sue government for this amount of money. Okay, the lawyers look at it and say, this is quite interesting. All right. Then the Ministry of Finance is written to. That Ministry of Finance, you owe this company this amount of money for the termination of the contract and using the equipment, etc., etc. For that reason, they want you to pay them this. Ministry of Finance says, I will not pay a dime. And you see, please get me Ken Oforiatta's photograph. People who don't take money from Ministry of Finance don't know. Ken Oforiatta is the last person to pay government money. He doesn't pay government money. He will wait and check. He doesn't take government money out and pay. Everybody complains about Ken. That, will Ken pay? Do you think Ken will pay? Ken hasn't paid. MPs are complaining. Common fund hasn't come. Ken Oforiatta is that kind of finance minister who is overprotective of the money in front of him. He's paying it little by little. So they write to Ken Oforiatta and say that, you, Ken Oforiatta, and the Ministry of Finance, you owe this company because of this clause that was written in their contract, which was signed in the NDC era. That's why we said charity begins at home. Ablakwa should have known that it was his colleague minister who procured that contract. We don't want to mention ministers' names of the past. They were doing their work, and we assume that they did their work faithfully and diligently. If time has come and something shows that is wrong, we do not assume that they were doing something untoward to the Republic. No, we do not assume that they have been unfaithful to the Republic. So we will not mention their names. But he ought to have known that the people who created this contract are his colleagues in government. He was at education as minister. There were other ministers at other places, and they put this contract together. So that's why we say charity begins at home. Somebody should have known that this contract, he should have gone to the people who put the contract together, because they are his colleagues in the same political party. They were in the same cabinet. They put the contract together. The contract that has created a problem is created by them. And the World Bank recently said, having reviewed all the contracts of the Mahama era, this was the worst time. The worst contracts were conducted in the Mahama time. Maybe this is one of them. Anyway, let's move on. So the Ministry of Finance receives a letter and says that you owe this person. Ministry of Finance then writes to the Attorney General and said, Mr. Godfrey Dame, interpret for us this line in this contract and tell us whether as a result of this line our government owes this person or not. So letter comes to Godfrey Dame. He puts his legal team together. They write in response and tell Ministry of Finance that because of the way this contract is written, we think that you do owe the person. However, we don't know how much you owe the person. And Godfrey Dame didn't put a figure to it in all of. We don't think you owe the person. We don't know how much you owe the person. But this clause makes you owe the person. We think that you should negotiate with them. Explain to them that Ghana is in a crisis. We've had COVID and all that. So this is 2021. We've had COVID and all that. So the government of Ghana cannot pay the amount of money they're looking for. But if they are Ghanaians, which they are, and they are patriotic, they should take a haircut. That word has become synonymous. It's no longer for the Baba anymore. It's now for Parliament and the Ministry of Finance and civil society. Haircuts. So they should take a haircut. That's what he said. Opinion number one. Opinion goes to Ken. Ken and the GRA people decide that we don't want to pay this money. We actually don't have money to pay this. We can't pay. And they are complaining. But why did NDC people do a contract like that? Oh, as for NDC people, look at the contract they did. Now the Attorney General says that we owe the people. What kind of contract is this? I'm wondering why that didn't form part of Sami's analysis. The original thing. Why did it originate? You know, as the lawyers are originating summons. Where did the summons originate? It originated from a contract concluded between the government of John Dramani Mahama and these people. That line in there was not put there by me, you, or Godfrey Dame. It was put there by the NDC people at the time to protect the business interests. Maybe not, we don't know, but it's there. And the lawyer says that with this line here, dear, you owe the people. And that is what he is calling a scandal today. That's what Sami is calling a scandal, viewers. He is calling, can you imagine? So he and his government put a contract together. Make sure that this evening when we're talking, I said, are you sure that they are not working for the people? I don't know. I don't allege anything. I don't know. But really, it's incongruous. You put a contract together. Out of the contract arises difficulties for government, and you say it's a scandal. They are a scandal. They are. I don't get it. Anyway, let's move on. So he writes to Minister of Finance and says that you got to pay them and negotiate with them anyway. Minister of Finance is concerned. We don't want to pay. We won't pay. Since 2021 up till today, the money hasn't been paid. Ministry of Finance is still concerned that they don't want to pay. So what they do? They go back to Attorney General. They said, we are in receipt of your letter, but we still think that we don't owe these people. Can you give us a second interpretation of this clause in the contract? One line. Attorney General says, okay, I'll look at it. He looks at it. He comes to the same conclusion. Writes back to Ministry of Finance and to the Ghana Revenue Authority this time that please, we have looked at it. We have looked at it. Much as it is bad, this is what was signed. And if we are not careful and the business entity goes to court, we will be like the GPCC one, where we had to pay 113 million to a company because of the contract that they had been entered into. That is why the World Bank says that this NDC administration 13 to 16 had the worst contracts in the whole world. In the whole world, the contracts that were signed that time, the World Bank man says it. You can Google it to come. I'll show it to you later on. He said that's the worst contracts. Is this one of them? I don't know. But Dami then says, I still stand where I am. I don't think I can change this opinion. I'm a lawyer. My responsibility is to do so. That's it. Okay. Now give me Article 88. Let me show viewers why Godfrey Dame is doing that. What is the basis? What's the regime that controls it? Article 88.5. The Attorney General shall be responsible for the institution and conduct of all civil cases on behalf of the state, and all civil proceedings against the state shall be instituted against the Attorney General as the defendant. That is why you hear Tufo versus the Attorney General, Martin Amidu versus the Attorney General, Paul Ademochi versus the Attorney General. Any action you want to take in civil law, which is criminal one is a police one, so any action you want to take in civil law must be instituted against the Attorney General. That is why the Attorney General, who is also the principal legal advisor to the government, that's why they seek his opinion. So the opinion of the Attorney General was sought. Let me have the yes, the opinion of the Attorney General was sought pursuant to Article 88. They don't seek the Attorney General's opinion for fun. They don't seek the Attorney General's opinion because he's their friend. They don't seek the Attorney General's opinion because they are happy with him. They seek the Attorney General's opinion because that's the dictates of the 1992 Constitution. That's what it is. The dictates of the 1992 Constitution require you to seek the opinion of the Attorney General because he is the principal legal advisor to the government, and all actions against the government shall be taken against him. So that this company that says they are going to sue, they are going to sue, and it will be them, the company, if they call the company X, it will be X. No, forgive me, I'm not Elon Musk. Okay, call the company Y. It will be Y versus the Attorney General. So you go to the Attorney General and say that this matter, where are we? Attorney General says, look, this thing, I can't. Now, because of the nature of the opinion, the Attorney General did not copy the opinion to the lawyers of the company, the Africa Legal Associates. Godfrey Dame did not send the opinion to them, lest they are armed and they think that their client has a case. So he didn't send the opinion to them. Since 2021, today is the first day that they are seeing the opinion, which is largely in favor of their client, because Samuel Okudzeto published it. Because civil servants have forgotten that they have a code of ethics. Civil servants and the people who work there have forgotten that they have a code of ethics. When we're growing up, when there's a document at Ministry of Finance, lie, you won't get it. You can. They don't do that. Today, they just put it around. So some people at the Ministry of Finance or at the GRA or somewhere got excited, sent their opinion to Samuel Okudzeto. He has published it. So now the business man knows that, so this matter, the Attorney General was with me. Because they don't know that the Attorney General wrote it to Ministry of Finance and said, Charlie, these people, you owe them. So please negotiate with them. 2 years, the people don't know that. 2 years they've been on Gabriel Chidako's neck. Are you suing the government? Is it because you are close to government you don't want to sue? And he's asking them, but what did the Attorney General say? They said, we don't know what the Attorney General said. Go and ask your people. And he's been struggling to ask them. So in fact, he wrote a letter, as his law firm showed me, giving the clients 2 more weeks, and the clients are saying, in 2 weeks, if you don't sue this government, we will sue them ourselves, because we came to you, you said we should negotiate, you said Ministry of Finance asking for the opinion of the Attorney General. 2 years, where is the opinion? Ablakwa has leaked the opinion, and now they know, because they didn't know. That's the way government is conducted. The conduct of the Attorney General and the Ministry of Finance should be congratulated, but they exchanged these letters 2 whole years. Nobody knew it. Today, Samuel Okudzeto has published it. So now the clients know that, the Attorney General thought that we were right. Okay, then now we'll bring legal action against him. In fact, if a legal action is taken against the Attorney General now, his defense will be on one leg because he has an opinion that says that the clause there said that government will owe them. Why would he be on one leg? Because Samuel Okudzeto, who is a member of parliament, who probably should have known that it's a confidential communication between the Attorney General and the Minister of Finance. As a member of parliament, you have rights. You can summon the Minister of Finance to Parliament, and you can conduct an in-camera hearing and get the media out and say, Minister of Finance, have you received this opinion from the Attorney General? That's the way to do it. We don't just come and put something there and say, I don't know whether it's Kisi Ajabi kind of thing. Say, hey, kitchen cabinet stand at 5 a.m. Member of Parliament, former minister. Ablakwa, you can't do that. You can't do that. You're a former minister. You're a member of Parliament. You know that this letter that you have received it in the privileged position as a member of parliament because somebody has given it to you. You should look at the letter and know that this is confidential. And you have the power to summon the Attorney General. You have the power to summon the Minister of Finance. You have the power to summon the Ghana Revenue Authority, the Governor of the Central Bank. You have the power to summon all of them. But you decide to do it like it's a new movie. The Kumasi movie, they say something 1 and 2. Everything is 1 and 2. Or some Diabolo. It looks like some Diabolo movie coming, like a movie. The kitchen scandal. It drops at 5 a.m. What is this? What is this? Is that how members of parliament behave? Is that how the Westminster members of parliament behave? Is that how American Congress, they put a picture movie Scandal is coming. 5 a.m. 5 a.m. when we are asleep, we should wake up and watch a movie called The Kitchen Scandal, and it's by a member of parliament.
Kitchen Scandal, na Gabi sorry, Ochireda Congress, we are Ablakwa, and Gabi, and a why then while diving into it more Eddie Amaya to say, and some apple a kind, so we need a message say, we will drop comments on before I have Ghana TV, so we didn't ever see a